Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to SEDA College Online. I'm Emma, and I'll be teaching you today and every day for pre-intermediate. Okay, so hope you're having a lovely day. I hope you're enjoying the little bit hotter weather. I know it can be a bit cold here, but at least the sun is out for now. So today, like every day, please have some paper, okay, and a pen, just to do some practice exercises as we're doing the course today. It's always good to do some practice to make sure you understand. And if you're doing the practice and you're not getting anything correct, please can you ask me for any help, or if you need any more explanations, just make a comment down below and let me know where you're all from. As always, I'd like to know where everybody is from. I'm from Ireland, so from Donegal in the northwest of Ireland. I live in Dublin. But yeah, let me know where you're all from. I would like that. Today, we are going to do, if I can get this working, yes. So the first thing is have to, don't have to, must and mustn't. Now, these are modal verbs, okay? They're obligation modal verbs. The next thing is modifiers, a bit, really, etc. Okay, so yeah, I'll be just doing a few examples of when we use these and why we use them. Okay, so let's start off. Okay, that's okay. First things first, okay? Have to and has to. Something you need to do the following is a rule, okay? So these are, we use these for rules, okay? So the structure is have or has to plus base form of a verb. You don't change the verb, you keep the verb the same, okay? So some examples here. Let's get this here. Okay, so you have to go to school, okay? This is a rule. You have to go to school, not you, okay? I mean, like children, they have to go to school. So you have to go to school. You have to. We have to clean the house, okay? Next one, he has to see the doctor. You have to wear a uniform to work, and my sister has to speak English at work, okay? So these are things that we use, okay? Just remember, you, we, they, I have to. He, she, it has to. Just remember that form, okay? And yes, we use to after these and then the base form, okay? So that's just a few examples using these. Next thing. Don't have to, doesn't have to, okay? So that should be a 2 up there, but don't worry. Okay, so let's look at the structure. We use this when something is necessary, okay? Something is not necessary. It's not the opposite of have to, okay? So just remember, the opposite of have to is not this, okay? Don't or doesn't have to plus base form of the verb. Look at the examples. You don't have to go to school on Sundays, okay? You don't have to go. We don't have to watch this movie again. Not necessary, okay? She doesn't have to do a driving test. Maybe she's already done it, I don't know, but yeah, she doesn't, okay? So coming back to our simple rules here, okay? The simple rules, she doesn't, not she don't. I hear this all the time, he don't have to, she don't have to. No, she doesn't have to, he doesn't have to, it doesn't have to, okay? They don't have to wear a suit to work, okay, suit. And he doesn't have to take the exam, okay? So just to get back to using this, guys, okay? It means when something which is not necessary, okay? Just maybe get that into your head for now, and don't think it's the opposite of have to, because it's not the opposite of have to, okay? Let's move on. So guys, I'm going to do a little bit of practice, okay? Because I can't stress how important it is if you don't use the correct grammar here, okay? It's really important, okay? So don't have to, doesn't have to, okay? So I want you to choose the correct one, okay? Put in don't have to or doesn't have to into the gaps here, these gaps, okay? So just make sure you put in the correct ones into each of these gaps. I'm going to give you 2 minutes, okay? 2 minutes. 2 minutes, okay? Just remember, you're really focusing on the subject of each sentence here, okay? He, we, the friends, Mandy, you, I. What do I use after each one? Okay? What do I use after each one? So guys, just think about it. You're putting in don't have to or doesn't have to into the gaps, okay? And really focus on the subject of each sentence, okay? Yes, there's verbs there, but you don't need to worry about the verbs. You don't need to change the verbs, okay? Everything stays the same, only you're putting these into the correct space, gaps, okay? So, I'll just give another minute. I don't want to rush you too much because I know some of you may be doing this for the first time. So if you are, don't worry. Take your time. Okay, let's start off then with the first one. Number 1, he doesn't have to work in the evening. He doesn't have to, okay? He doesn't have to. Very important. We don't have to go shopping, okay? We don't have to. It's not necessary. It's not necessary, okay? Next one. The friends don't have to get up early, okay? Next one. Mandy doesn't have to read the instructions. Doesn't have to. Mandy. Number 5, you don't have to do the project. You don't have to. Not necessary. And number 6, I don't have to play the guitar. It's not necessary. Maybe I'm in a band, I don't know, but I don't have to play, which is good. I can't play the guitar. In fact, I can't play any instrument. I used to play the tin whistle. Do you know tin whistle? It's an Irish kind of instrument. Tin whistle goes like this. Yeah, I used to be able to play that, but not so much now. Can any of you play any instruments? Please let me know. Okay, so just going back, he doesn't have to, we don't have to, the friends don't have to, plural, Mandy doesn't have to, you don't have to, I don't have to. Okay? Let's move on. Now we're looking at must. Okay, must. So guys, must. We use must plus verb infinitive without to, no to talk about rules and obligations. Use mustn't, it's not mustn't, okay, it's mustn't. This T is silent, okay? You don't say mustn't. In fact, it's very hard for me to say that, but you don't say mustn't. No, it's mustn't. You mustn't, okay? So use mustn't plus verb infinitive without to again to say something is prohibited. We use must to talk about rules and obligation, and mustn't to say something is prohibited. Do you understand? Let's look at the examples. You must fasten your seatbelts. Do you understand fasten your seatbelts? When you have the seatbelt in the airplane and it makes that noise, or even in the car, you put it in. To fasten is the verb we use, okay, for seatbelts, okay? And they're talking about in the car here. So this is a rule, it's an obligation, okay? You must stop playing computer games. Again, that's more opinion, okay? So yes, we can use that for opinions. She must learn to drive. It will be very useful, okay? Again, you're giving your opinion. Banks must examine all documents, which is true. That's an obligation. And she mustn't smoke here. It's prohibited, okay? It's prohibited to smoke in a restaurant, in a bar, who knows, okay? So these we're using must, but don't use to after must. It's very important not to use to. You don't say we must to fasten. No, guys, no to. Just remember when you're saying that word must, don't put to after. Okay, let's move on. Now guys, you have heard me talk a little bit about must and have to. I know a lot of you are sitting there thinking, but why can't I just use both of them? Well, here's your answer, okay? So, what's the difference between must and have to? What is the difference? Okay, let's look. Must and have to are very similar, but there is a small difference. We normally use have to for general obligations, a rule at work, okay, or school or a law. We normally use must for personal obligation, and you would have heard me say that, okay? So she must learn to drive, or, things like that, okay? It's personal. One that the speaker imposes, maybe a teacher to student, a parent to a child, a friend to a friend. But you can often use both must or have to, okay? That's the answer, okay? You can use both of these, but in different situations, okay? Just remember, have to is more for general obligation, and must is for personal obligation, okay? So that is the difference, very small difference. Now, my favorite, this is my favorite, this one. Mustn't and don't have to. They are not the same. They are completely different. Completely different. Okay? Look, mustn't and don't have to have completely different meanings. Let's compare. You mustn't go. It's prohibited. Don't go. Okay? You don't have to go. This means you can go if you want to, but it's not obligatory and necessary. So it's not necessary for you to go. Okay, so that's the difference between mustn't and don't have to. One is an obligation, one is prohibited, and one is not necessary. Okay, let's look down here. Sorry guys. Okay, let's look down here. Impersonal you. So we often use have to and must, okay, to impersonal you. You people in general, okay, so you as in people in general. You have to wear a seatbelt in a car. You mustn't take photos in the museum. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, we're talking about you have to. We're talking about people in general. We're not talking about you in particular, but in general, you have to wear a seatbelt in the car. You mustn't take photos in the museum. Okay, so I really hope that helps you a little, because I know some people, me as a teacher, a lot of people ask me, well, when can I use must? Why can't I use have to? Well, here's your answer, guys. Here is your answer for that question that you may ask a lot. Okay, so let's have a look. The next part. Okay, so in this part, I want you to choose the correct option. Okay, so you will see the underlined here, but I only want you to choose one of the options. Okay, so read them and think about it and tell me which one you're going to choose. Okay, so the first one, you mustn't, don't have to tell the boss what happened or he'll sack you. He said mustn't or don't have to. Number 2, I mustn't, don't have to wear the suit. I do it because I like wearing suits. Is this an obligation or is it not necessary? Number 3, you mustn't, don't have to smoke in here. Smoking is not allowed. So you have to choose mustn't or don't have to. Number 4, I don't like these clothes, but I have to, don't have to wear them at work. So is it necessary or not necessary for me to wear them to work? Okay. We had an accident, but it was okay. We didn't have to, mustn't go to the hospital. Sorry. So again, what happened in this situation? And number 6, you have to, mustn't put salt in her food. The doctor said she can't eat it. No, she can't. Okay. So I only want you to write the number and then write the correct one. So you choose the correct one. I'm going to give you 1 more minute. Think about it and see how you get on. So just give you another minute. Just remember, you only have to write the one of the options, okay? There's no two correct for any one of them, only one. Okay. Right, so number 1 is you mustn't tell the boss what happened or he'll sack you. Okay, so it's not, you wouldn't use the second one because that's more like it's not necessary, okay? But in this case, it's really prohibited not to tell the boss, okay? And that's a good personal option to say to somebody, you mustn't. 2, I don't have to wear a suit. I do it because I like wearing suits. So look, I don't have to wear it, but I do it because I like, okay? So it's not necessary to wear a suit, but they do it because they like wearing suits. Number 3, you mustn't smoke in here. Smoking is not allowed, okay? So in this case, this is prohibited. This means smoking is prohibited, okay? It's really important. Number 4, I don't like these clothes, but I have to wear them at work. So it's necessary for them to wear at work, okay? They don't like them, but it's a rule, okay? It's an obligation to wear to work. We had an accident, but it was okay. We didn't have to go. Yeah, we didn't have to go to the hospital. It wasn't necessary to go to the hospital, okay? Which is good news, really good news, okay? So guys, just remember, after must, we don't use to, okay? And remember, mustn't is, it's still an obligation. Also, don't have to is not the opposite of have to, okay? It just means it's not necessary, whereas have to means it's obligation, okay? So that's that. If anyone has any questions on each one of these, please make a comment and I will answer as soon as I can. Oh, sorry, there's one more here. I didn't see. You mustn't put salt in her food. The doctor said she can't eat salt, so you mustn't, or she'll die, basically. Well, I don't know if she'd die if you eat salt. I know salt can give you high blood pressure, so maybe this is why. Okay? Now, moving on to modifiers, okay? So I have a few modifiers here. And these are just additional words to sentences, okay? In this case, I can say English is difficult. That's okay. That is okay. There's nothing wrong with saying English is difficult. Football is boring. Ireland is cold. You know, all of these are all correct, but these are modifiers and these are just extra words, okay? So starting with the very top, okay? English is incredibly difficult, okay? So that means really, 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 really difficult. In this one, you can say after incredibly, we have English is really difficult. Then English is very difficult. English is quite difficult. English is a bit, so I guess that should be a bit, not a but, okay? A bit. And then English is not very difficult, which is the lowest one here, okay? So these are just modifiers. There's nothing really much to say. I do have some examples, okay? So let's look and see what examples here. These are just examples I thought I put into sentences to make you understand when we use them and why we use them, okay? So, examples. I'm not very good at learning languages. That's true for me, okay? I'm not very good at learning languages, which I think it's incredibly great that everyone is learning English. It's a difficult language, and so if you're in pre-intermediate, you're doing really well. English grammar is incredibly difficult. Do you agree? Maybe you think English vocabulary is incredibly difficult. So do you agree about the grammar? Or maybe you think it's quite easy. Who knows? English is quite important for my work. Okay, so a lot of people come to Ireland to work and they know even when they go back to their own country, they always say English is quite important. I really like traveling. Okay, sorry, this really should be there, not like. And then I'm a bit worried about my driving test. Of course, everybody is worried about their driving tests. Now, I don't necessarily have any practice here for you to do, okay? But what I would like you to do, all of you, okay, it's just a little exercise I want you all to do. I want you to make a sentence down below, and I want you to write about English, okay? So you can talk about English grammar, you can talk about speaking, you can talk about writing, anything to do with English, okay? And I want you to use a modifier. So you could say, writing in English is incredibly difficult, or you could say, English is quite important for my work. Is it? I want you guys to make a comment, okay? So don't be shy, okay? Make the comment. Don't think, oh, what happens if I do it wrong? You won't do it wrong, and if you do it wrong, who cares, okay? So just using the correct modifier like I have done here. Just remember, this is I really like, okay? That's the modifier, not like, okay? So just make a sentence for me. I would like you to do that, and then I can see how everyone gets on, and I will make comments for all of them. So just one sentence, that's all I want, is one sentence using modifiers, okay? I don't have any. Just going back, here are the modifiers again, just to make you remember what we did. So incredibly, really, actually you can even say English is, and you can say quite easy if you think it's quite easy, or you could say not very difficult, why not? Or you can say incredibly. It's your sentence, okay? So just go over them. Incredibly, really, very, quite, a bit, not but, and not very. So make the comments, guys, and I will get back as soon as I see them. I will look at them and I'll make a comment as to it was good, or I'm sure it was very good, okay? So guys, thank you for joining me today, and see you tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow we will be doing should and expressions using get. Okay, so just to let you know, that's what our learning objectives will be for tomorrow. Using should, which is also a modal verb, like today we've done lots of modal verbs. And we'll also be doing expressions. Get is one of those that we use a lot, okay? So get to work, get home, get up, lots, okay? So we will be doing this. So enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to make the comments, the sentences, okay? And I will check them out. And yeah, that's all for now, and see you tomorrow. Bye guys.